Hey guys, welcome to another video of mine about investments and whatnot. This is Jimmy, and I want to talk about the 401k and why I don't no longer contribute to it. So, I know most of you already know what the 401k is, but for those of you who don't, it's basically the retirement plan. So, when you work, your employer will set aside a retirement plan called a 401k, and you can put tax deferred dollars of what you make into a 401k account, and depending on your employer they might match, or they might match a certain percentage or whatnot, and then it's basically your safety retirement nest, let's say, until you're ready to retire, and it's based on mainly mutual funds and conservative stocks and whatnot that you can rely on gains, moderate gains, for your entire career. So that's in a nutshell what a 401k plan is. And I do have one. When I first started working, I have a 401k open, and I still have one. And so the title saying why I don't contribute to it is basically after I learn out what really a 401k is, it's kind of shift my mind onto why I stopped contributing to it. And I have some reasons why I do. And I want to share them with you, see if you guys agree with me or not. But well, the number one reason why I don't contribute anymore is because my money will be locked in into this account until I'm ready to retire, which right now I think the earliest you can retire is withdraw it out. I mean, is 59 and a half. So if you withdraw out before that age, you get a 10% penalty. And of course, you get taxed on as well, right? So if you start working at, say, 18, 19, 20, let's say you graduate at 22, 23 years old from college and you get yourself a job. So between the 22, 23, all the way to 59 and a half, that's a lot of years to lock up your money in there without being able to touch it. I'll touch on a little bit of why, uh, when I say without touching it, meaning you can't withdraw it out at will. It's not like a checking account or a saving account where you put money in and next day you want to withdraw. There is limitations to what you can, and I'll touch on it later, in a sense that you can always borrow a loan from it. But that's number one. That's the number one reason why I don't do it no more. Right? Is because I don't want my money to be locked up in an account somewhere when I have no control over it. Right? So that kind of leads into the second point of why I chose not to contribute any longer, is the control of my stocks. Yes, I can pick different stock, different mutual funds in the package, or the I would say the selection packages that they set forth for you. I have Fidelity, and Fidelity sets a certain package up if I want to be conservative, aggressive, or whatnot, or semi-aggressive, depending on the years that I'm planning to retire. I can pick the package. So I really just kind of pick a package the year that I'm gonna retire, and then let them do their thing, right? So I really have no control over it, and I really don't like that aspect of it now that I know more about the 401k. Another reason why is your return on investment. On average, a 401k will bring you between 6 and 8%. So let's say you get about 7% return on investment yearly. I mean, 7% is good, but I think there's other investment out there in the investment world that you can get more than 7%. And plus, don't count out inflation. Inflation is roughly about 3%, 2 to 3% per year as well. And so when you average it all out, you're really just making about 5% return on investment on a 401k plan that you can't touch for, let's say, from 20 to 60. That's 40 years, right? You can't touch that money. Okay, so another reason is when you do want to touch it, you get penalized 10%, and it's usually when you withdraw 10%, and then you get tax on it. But the tax, it doesn't really matter to me because you get taxed on regardless. If you don't contribute to one, you get taxed on your income, and then you get a net income, and you take home money. That's called take home money. So they just defer the tax. So I really let the tax part of it cancel each other out. So the 10% for withdrawing from your 401k, to me, that's a total BS. Why am I getting penalized for taking my own money back out, right? So when I put money in my checking or a saving account, I take money out, I don't get penalized on it unless I overdraft it for some reason. But this 401k account, they penalize you for taking a 10%. They penalize you for 10% just for taking your own money out, which to me is BS, right? So I really don't like that part of it as well. And in order to get away from the 10%, you can always borrow a loan, and the loan is really up to say your carrier. Mine's Fidelity, and they let me borrow up to $50,000 or 50% of what I have in the account. So if I have $100,000 saved up, I could borrow up to 50 grand. Of course, they'll give you interest, and you pay yourself back on your payroll checks. Every time you get paid on your payroll check, they'll take a certain amount out, and it's all printed out, and you know exactly what amount you're going to be taken out. But once again, why am I getting kind of like, I would say, penalized for withdrawing and taking a loan out even? Yeah, I'm paying myself back, but I'm forced to pay it back because it's not like you send a check in or whatnot. It's your employer will automatically deduct that amount that you're supposed to pay back your 401k every time you get paid. So for me, it's bi-weekly I get paid. So twice a month, they're going to take a portion of my check away to pay back my 401k, which is, once again, my own money, right? So that aspect of it I really don't like. And on top of all this, they charge you fees for keeping your money. So for me, Fidelity is charging me a fee. For those of you who don't believe there is such a fee, go onto your 401k plan, look at the fees, click on the drop down where the fees are, and it'll show you how much fees that you're paying your carrier. For me, is Fidelity, and I checked on it, and I'm getting charged quite a bit of fees just to have them hold my money. So why in the world? Okay, one, why would I let somebody else control my investment for 40 years, let's say? Two, I can't even touch it until I'm 59 and a half. And if I do touch it, I get penalized by 10%. So, and then on top of that, if I get to borrow a loan of my money, I gotta pay back forcefully, basically through my paychecks. So to me, like I said at the beginning, I have a 401k. I still have a 401k, but I no longer contribute to it. My employer doesn't match too much, so that aspect is not a benefit to me. If your employer match 100%, great. I mean, people say it's free money, but keep in mind that technically it's not free money. If you put $1 in, your employer match $1. It looks like they're giving you an extra $1, but if you look at, I tend to look at the bottom line. Let's say, example, if I get paid $15 an hour, right, and my employer don't match, for example, right, and let's say that my offer letter for that job is, say, you get $14 an hour, but we'll match you $1 for every $1 that you put in. So it's technically they're not paying you your fair amount of pay. Right? If you think about it in that sense, and I'm always the one that think about outside the box, what's benefit to me long term and whatnot. So overall, that's mainly the reason. And for those of you who have a 401k, that's perfectly fine. If you think that's the best way for you to save your money for long term, that's great. And most people love that because they just stash the money away, don't worry about it, and then because they can't touch it, the money will always kind of be there. And then when they retire, they get it. They get amount of whatever they saved up, and hopefully by that time that they retired, they build enough funds up to sustain their expenses for that time frame. But for me, I do have a 401k account, but I no longer contribute to it. And this is basically the reasons why I could invest it in better investment out there, and I could pull my money out whenever I please without being penalized or getting forced to pay back at a certain amount of time. And most loans that you borrow for 401ks, at least for Fidelity, is like a 5-year max. I could choose 2, 3, 4, up to 5, I believe. And so if I borrow $50,000 out and in a 5-year time frame, I didn't do the math at all, but it's going to be a good chunk of change every 2 weeks, maybe $300, $400, $500, $600 every 2 weeks. And by me borrowing it out, most likely I'll be using that 50,000 to pay for something already. So I would not be able to afford to have my paycheck be deducted. Let's say $500 a paycheck. So that's $1,000 a month less income, net income that I have to spend on my other expenses. So think about that example that I just gave you. And so, like I said, 401ks are out there for people who like to stash money away and forget about it, and then 40 years later have a potload of money. Great, but for me, I rather invest my money elsewhere. All right, so if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will bring you more videos about investing in general, real estate investment, and any kind of investment in general. If you have any questions or comments or any topics you want me to touch base on, go ahead and leave them on the comments, and I'll make a video of it. All right, until next time, thanks for supporting my channel. Talk to you later.